folks, and welcome into this video. Look at this, it's another whiteboard one. If you're new here, I am Jeremy. This is Financial Education 3, and I've been putting out a ton of straight educational videos on this channel recently. So if you're really enjoying these straight educational videos, don't forget to smash that like button. That lets me know that you guys are enjoying these videos, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I'm just posting straight whiteboard, just straight educational videos on this channel at the moment, okay? Today, we're gonna talk about a big subject. We're gonna talk about getting into the 1%, okay? Getting to a place where you're very, very wealthy, where you're very, very well off. And let's be honest, I don't know if I know anybody that wouldn't want to be in the 1%, right? And be in a very good financial position. And the reason being is almost everybody has dreams and wants in life, right? It could be, you know, to basically not have to worry about your bills, right? It could be to live in a certain house or in a certain town or live in a certain city or live in a certain country, things like that, right? It could be healthcare related. Maybe you know somebody that's not doing so well and they're having to pay, you know, a lot of money and go into a lot of debt for healthcare reasons. It could be to retire early. It could be to start your own business. It could be, you know, a million different things. Some people might want a fancy car or whatever. Like almost everybody has these dreams. Maybe it's travel in the world, right? And the thing is, like, these dreams, at the end of the day, when you really break it down, you start to realize, oh my gosh, this is going to actually cost a lot of money to fulfill these dreams and things like that. And so that's why the goal is to get up there to a level where you have a lot of money, right? And so I want to talk about how to actually get there. Like literally, like what do you do? Like how do you actually get into this 1%, right? Now, I want to run over a few fun facts for you guys that have been done on studies over the past few years in regards to, you know, where wealth is at. And, you know, like what percentage of folks in the world have this amount of wealth and those sorts of things, okay? So by the way, I hope you guys enjoy this as always, okay? Let's get into this. So 73.2% of the adult population in the world has under $10,000 of wealth. Now, right off the bat there, two things kind of hit me. One is if you have more than $10,000 of wealth to your name, okay, meaning $10,000 more in assets versus your liabilities, one is you should feel very thankful for that, okay? The second is you should feel very proud of that, because keep in mind the far majority of people in this world, right, of the adult population don't even have $10,000 of assets versus liabilities, okay? And so this is something very, very important, and just feel good about yourself and feel very thankful for what I've achieved in my life, climbing from, you know, poverty to, you know, fortunate enough to reach the 1% as of a few years ago. I feel extremely thankful. I have absolutely worked my butt off to get there, and I've done it a disciplined way, and in a way I'm going to teach you guys here today. But at the same time, I feel very thankful to be in that position, because keep in mind, most people in the world, you know, to get up here almost seems impossible, right? Especially when you have under 10K. 73.2% of the world's population, based upon studies, has under $10,000 to their name, okay? 18.5% of that wealth pyramid has between $10,000 and $100,000. And I can almost guarantee you the majority of people watching this video right now, you guys are in this 18.5% right here. I know my audience very, very well, and I know a lot of you guys have crazy amounts of money. Like we have people in my private stock group that have over $10 million just in stocks alone, never mind what they have in other assets, right? We've got over 100 people in my private stock group that have one of these trophies, which is essentially $1 million plus, right? And we've got hundreds and hundreds of people that have 6 figures plus. But I know the majority of folks that watch my channel have between $10,000 and $100,000 to your name. Sometimes newer folks that are just trying to get in the finance game or watching my channel, that you might have, you know, a few $100 to your name or a few thousand. And obviously we have people that have a lot more, but the majority of you guys are right here, okay? And so your focus is like, how do we get to the next one, right? Now this 7.5% here, that little chunk of the wealth pyramid there, that is essentially what of the world's population for adults has $100K to $1 million, okay? 7.5% of the world's population is $100K to $1 million, and only 0.7% of the world's population, 0.7%, so less than 1%, has over $1 million in assets versus liabilities. It is a very, very small number, okay? And so keep in mind, if you are somebody watching this video right now that has over $1 million to your name, you know, yeah, clap for yourself and also feel very thankful, because that is such a small sliver of the world's population has that sort of money, okay? Now, some other things to keep in mind here is there's roughly, it's impossible to know because there's always people going under $1 million, coming up to $1 million, right? There's roughly 50 million to 60 million millionaires in the entire world, okay, based upon studies they've done. 50 to 60 million. Now, of the 50 to 60 million people in the world that have $1 million plus to their name, over 20 million of those people live in the United States of America, right? The United States of America is actually a pretty small percentage of the world's population, but yet, a significant portion of the people that actually hit millionaire status are in the United States of America. And of the folks in the United States of America, 44% roughly of the millionaires in the United States of America, based upon studies, live in actually California. And I know a lot of times, we might sometimes, joke around about how California is broken and this and that's wrong. But at the end of the day, you cannot deny that there's a lot of folks that have millions of dollars in California. I know a lot of people that have made, became millionaires in California just based upon real estate, based upon the fact that they were realtors. They made a lot of money from that. They invested in real estate properties, and they became literally millionaires just from the fact that they prospered in a place where real estate is a great market, right? Plus, you have a ton of huge tech companies in San Francisco. I mean, literally a lot of the biggest companies in the world are right in San Francisco, right? Which is obviously in California. So when you have that sort of setup, you're going to have a massive amount of the world's millionaires are coming directly out of California. And so even with the crazy tax code in California, keep in mind there's still obviously money to be made there, okay? Now, another fun fact for you, if you want to be the 1% of the 1%, if you're really into this sort of stuff like I am, you kind of look into these things like what does it take to be in the 1% of the 1%, okay? As far as income, if you want to be in the 1% of the 1%, you need to make over $30 million a year, okay? Over $30 million a year to call yourself one of the people that's the 1% of the 1%, okay? Yeah, when you're in the 1% of the 1%, it's totally different numbers there, man. That's crazy stuff, okay? Now, that kind of gives you a framework for understanding, what are your chances of doing this and those sorts of things. Now, keep in mind, the high majority of folks in the world, okay, are not actively truly trying to become millionaires and try to make it to this 0.7%. The far majority of people in the world are trying to make ends meet. And I don't just mean in other countries and things like that. I mean even in my own country, United States of America, most people aren't trying to become millionaires actively. What they're doing is just trying to make ends meet so they can, live to fight another day. And so they can pay their rent and their mortgage and things like that. So it is something to keep in mind that most folks are not trying to do this, okay? So don't feel like these numbers are as crazy as they look, because I can guarantee you if everybody in the world was actively trying to become a millionaire and seriously trying to do it, the amount of millionaires we'd have in the world would be exponentially higher. It's just the fact is most people don't know how to do it, or they don't have the ambition to do it, right? And so if you don't want to do it, or you don't have the ambition to do it, or you're in a situation where you just don't know how to do it, you can't obviously do it, right? It's completely unrealistic, all right? Now, we all have 24 hours in a day, right? That's what we all have, 24 hours in a day. All of us are probably busy. We all got a lot of things going on, right? But we have 24 hours in a day. So there comes to be this discussion here. What do you focus on in those 24 hours a day? Do you focus on getting a particular skill better? Or do you focus your time and attention on what can make you the most money based upon value in the marketplace, okay? And so to give you some real world examples of a discussion like we're talking about, I got to give some real world examples, because if you never heard this concept before, it's hard to hit some people, because a lot of people think just work hard, and if you work really hard, you'll become a millionaire, right? It's not really how it works, okay? Think about it this way when we're talking about skill versus value, right? The world's best bus driver, the best bus driver in the world, how much do you think the best bus driver in the world makes, right? Who even knows who's the best bus driver in the world, right? I'm sure there's somebody out there that is just, they're so on top of it, it's almost impossible for them to get in an accident. They're the best at that, right? I can almost guarantee you they make a very, very low wage, right? Meanwhile, the best stock picker, the best investor in the world, that person can make billions and billions and tens of billions or hundreds of billions of dollars, right? And so think about it from this context. You could focus your whole life on being the best bus driver possible, right? But meanwhile, this guy who's focused on being the best stock picker they can be, the best investor, is going to exponentially pass up whatever this person has for wealth, right? Because being the world's best bus driver doesn't pay that great. Being the world's best investor or stock picker, that pays handsomely, okay? Unbelievably ridiculous, actually, right? And so you kind of got to think about it. And I remember when I first started in the stock market back when I was 18, 19 years old, 2008, 2009, I was looking around and I was like, man, who's really making some money out there? And I saw, wow, there's a lot of people in relation to the stock market that make a whole lot of money, right? And if there's all that money over there, I could probably get a good chunk of that, right? And so that's why I was like, I need to focus on this investing thing. And before I could even grasp the full concept of having high income skills, my mind was already going that route where I was like, oh my gosh, being, look at what the 50th best hedge fund manager makes in a year. And then look at what the 50th highest earning lawyer makes in the world. Those numbers aren't even like remotely close, right? The 50th like best stock picker in the world, or the 50th like best hedge fund manager, let's say for instance, they make probably 100x, if not 1,000x, what the best lawyer is in the world, right? Like you can't even compare those, right? The best food store manager out there in the world probably makes the same amount in a year that the world's best real estate investor makes in a few hours, essentially, right? This guy's the best of the world at this, and this guy's the best of the world at this, right? Imagine this, right? The world's best burger flipper, the world's best burger cook, right? Like they cook a burger perfect every single time. Like they are amazing. They are the best at that, right? Versus the world's most popular country singer. Who's gonna make more? This country singer probably makes more in one big concert at a festival than this burger flipper, the world's best, makes, honestly, in maybe their entire life, or certainly in like a 10-year span, right? And so a lot of people get caught up into, I just got to be the best at this particular skill, when really the focus should be on value, and value is where it's at if you want to truly climb up this wealth pyramid here. Okay, now let's get into this. This next part is big here. Okay, the 1%. Where does the 1% focus on? Okay, and the folks that aren't even in the 1%, but they're destined to get there over the next 3, 5, 7, 10 years, which hopefully as many of you guys are going to get in there as possible, right? The 1% focuses on assets that generate value for others. Okay? Assets that generate value for others. Whereas some folks might think, I got to have a certain skill and that's going to help me get to this 1% because that particular thing. No, it's actually about owning the assets that generate value for others. That's where the magic is, okay? That's where the magic happens there, right? So think about stocks, obviously. Think about real estate investing, owning real estate properties, right? Think about owning business in general. Think about crypto. Think about, all these different things. Obviously, crypto is kind of a new one on the block, right? Think about bonds. Think about anything where you own some sort of asset that is generating value for others, right? And so rather than, have a particular skill, I would rather own the entire company that essentially generates that value for everybody out there, right? I would much rather own, 2% of the world's biggest food store chain out there, right? And all that value it gets, rather than be the best manager at running a particular food store, right? So think about it from that context, and you really start to open your mind to, oh my gosh, like the real magic is when you can acquire assets that generate value for others. Now, to get to this point where you can buy assets that generate value for others, sometimes you got to have a skill that, pays the bills essentially, right? And you can start buying that. No different than back when I was working at Walgreens and Quick Trip and things like that. I was developing a skill that essentially could make me money, so I could acquire these assets that generate value for other people, okay? And that's where the magic is, right? And when it comes to folks that are in the 1%, what so many of them do phenomenal, especially the ones when we start talking about the 1% of the 1%, that upper 1% part, right, which is a whole different class in itself, those people do the best of the best job on spending money on things that will make and save them more money, okay? Now, this doesn't mean those people don't spend money, because believe me, they spend money on houses and cars and all those sorts of things. But what you're gonna find is the majority of money that those folks spend money on is essentially ways that they can make and save even more money, right? So let's say there's something where they're trying to, start a new business, right? They're not gonna be able to do everything. They're gonna go out there and find the best talent possible to help them with that business and spend the money on those employees or those folks that are going to work for the business so they can make that business into a much bigger business, right, and grow it exponentially. Or they're going to put themselves in a situation where maybe they have to learn, about this skill for years and years to go in the future. So to give an example for me, right, we've been trying to build an app, the Hungry Bowl. It's now on your iOS store, your Android store, and I hope that becomes a really big thing, and I've been pouring a lot of money into that. Rather than me try to go learn how to code and code at a high level, that's so unrealistic, right? Like, it's going to take me me years and years to get to that level. I would much rather find the best of the best people that are phenomenal at doing this, right? And rather, you know, spend money with them, right? And maybe even give them equity in this project, and they can build it out, right? Because they're amazing at what they do, rather than me personally saying, oh, I'm gonna go be a coder, so I'm gonna spend the next 6 years of my life, and all of a sudden I'm 37 and now I know how to code. You know, no, that's so unrealistic, right? So the best of the best people understand, like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go find the premier people in these industries, right? Steve Jobs, Steve Jobs is a super famous entrepreneur, right? And Steve Jobs wasn't actually in there building the iPhones. It cracks me up how many people they think like, oh, Steve Jobs is the one that built the iPhone. Not really, okay? He might have the concept, like this is what I want to do, but it was 1,000 engineers working on this to make this reality, the original iPhone, the original iPad. It was those engineers, right? He was just the one to put the money up and put the idea up and find the right people to execute on this idea, right? Elon Musk isn't personally building the Tesla cars, I can tell you that much, okay? It's a million engineers that work for Tesla that are amazing at what they do, and Elon Musk can give them the vision. This is what I want to do. Let's go make this happen. And can raise the capital, get them everybody together, and obviously he's the one that is branded as the visionary, and respect, he should absolutely deserve that, but he's not the one that's actually putting all that tech together. I can guarantee you that, okay? That's just not the way it works. The folks that are in the 1%, they understand, like, if I don't know something, I can educate myself on this. Let me buy something so I can educate myself on this, so I can learn this. If it's something that's something that could be learned really quickly, right? If it's something that's going to take years, they'd rather just hire out. If it's something that's going to take a day or a few weeks, they'd like, let me just educate myself on this, spend the money there, right? CPAs, certified public accountants, people that help with taxes and things like that. It's an expense, right? It can add up to thousands of dollars a year. But if you're in the 1%, the goal is to pay the least amount of taxes possible legally, right? So of course you're going to hire the best of the best tax people, okay? And this is exactly how you climb that wealth pyramid, okay? You buy assets that generate value for others. It will become much easier if you live in places in which the numbers are on your side, right? The United States, the numbers are definitely on your side. There's other countries as well that definitely have good chunks, folks that are in those countries that make a lot of money, but obviously the US is a huge advantage. And focus on value and what really gets value in the marketplace rather than just focusing on a direct skill, okay? Say, what if I'm the best at this, if I'm the 20th best person at this, what type of value do I get out of that, okay? That's the things to think about. And always be willing to spend money on people or things, right, that can help you make more money as you climb the ranks. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you didn't get to smash that like button already, I would appreciate it in a huge way. That lets me know you guys enjoy a video like this. And also, if you want to check out many other educational videos, check out this channel in general. Subscribe, hit the notifications. I got a lot of other videos I've been putting out recently. They're straight educational videos, more coming for you guys over the next couple months. And without further ado, thank you for watching and have a great day.